Hi, fellow traders. I hope you guys had a great week. I'm going to do my weekend or end of week wrap up video here. Just kind of discuss some things that we've been looking at, wrap up the swing trades. I've got questions about it over the last couple of weeks, so going to try to answer everything in this end of week wrap up video. But the message that I want to drive home so bad, and we talked about this a couple of weeks ago at the beginning of my 30-day refocus challenge. And I said, you've got to check your baggage at the door. So it doesn't matter whether you're coming from somewhere else to learn from me or you're leaving me going somewhere else. Wherever you go, you've got to check your baggage at the door. Because 9 times out of 10, the principles and things that are centered around my strategy may not work somewhere else because they're doing something completely different. Or the things that you learn here, there, and everywhere, and you come into our community, they're irrelevant because what I do is so simple and I don't need a whole lot of moving parts. And so you've got to check those things at the door. When you try to incorporate them and you haven't got the gist of the core strategy and the simplicity of it, all you're doing is creating losses for yourself. And then you'll blame it on the strategy, and which makes absolutely no sense. So no matter which way you go, whoever you go to learn from, make sure you check your baggage at the door. Now, some of that stuff you paid a lot of money for, it may be useful down the road, but you've got to learn the core strategy first before you start implementing other things. That's going to be the key. Because the number one reason educated traders lose money is because they make trading errors. They know the strategy, but their execution is off. And they make errors executing the trade. Either they jump in too early, they jump in too late, they try to hold a bag to see if it's going to come back. They break the rules of the strategy that they're trading. And for me, 80% of the losses that I take are because I made a trading error in execution. Either I missed a level, I forgot to write a level down, or whatever the case is, it's an error in execution. And so those are the things that we have to clean up. And if you come in with all of this baggage and all of this negativity and all of the issues that you dealt with on the other side, it's just going to weigh you down. So you come in, you start with a clean slate, and we hit the ground running. And that's what it's all about. So remember, no matter where you go, no matter who you learn from, before you start, you need to check all of that baggage at the door and come in with a clean slate and get to work. You're going to find it less stressful. All of those emotions that you would bring are not there. And having a fresh start, really makes a big difference. All right, so let's look at the SPY here. Now, you guys remember for the last several weeks, or maybe a month now, I've been talking about this 285.54 level, and it's the low of this candle right here. And right now, you see the close from Friday is sitting right above it. And this is the significant level for me because when we had the initial pullback, this is where we bounced. Okay, and we had a pretty strong bounce here to where a lot of people thought, this was going to be it. and then it eventually came back. And the second time we fell through this level, and then we came back and tried to hold above it again. So where was the bounce? So once we get through this, this is going to be a significant level for me right here. You see, this is going to be significant. And guess what? This is right where the stock bounced on Thursday. We were tracking down. The market opened on a little gap down on Thursday, sold all the way to the level right here, and then we started bouncing. This is significant. So now, Friday, we did close above that 285.54 level. If we claim it Monday, if we open and we trade above the high from Friday, then we would have claimed this level. Now, one thing I see is we've got a strong line of defense up here. All right, here is the top that it put in. You know, every time I thought we were going to 300 on this bounce, I thought we would see 300. It got stuffed at 295. We made a higher low. We were just holding the 20 here. Made another bounce, got stuffed at 295, and then here, this is when we came in hard. So we've got a big resistance level here. We've got the 90-day coming in, sitting on top of it. Just above it, we've got the 200-day. Now we've got this descending resistance coming in. So there's a big line of defense on the SPY here. A big line of defense, which is probably going to keep it in this channel, and unless it can break through it. So this is more significant for our swing trading, and we're going to talk more about that tomorrow morning in our session, our Sunday morning session. But this is going to be significant next week. Okay, this is what's going to happen, and we're going to talk through the scenarios in the morning. But this is really, really significant. We're at a key level here, and we have been for almost a month. And in a little bit, I'm going to give you a little bit of my analysis based on the swing trades when we get into that. I'm going to cover the swings from this month. I've been asked to do that in the video, so I'm going to do that too. But this is, what we've been seeing. And this is a setup for a very interesting week. All right, so we'll talk about Friday and then kind of close out the week because there's some significant lessons that I've been trying to get through and really focusing on, because it's really been important right now to understand when to stay out of trades. And just because stocks are moving, if they're moving in a channel or moving in a range, you don't trade it in that range. If you do, you're going to get chopped up, chopped out. You're going to lose money unless you're scalping for 20, 30-cent moves. And in that case, you need to be heavily, you have to be sized in heavy. And if you're looking for 30 cents, obviously you're only going to have a 50-cent stop. And with the volatility of these stocks chopping in these channels, you're going to keep getting stopped out. So, that's why I've been key on this all the last couple of weeks. Now, the issue with me is that I've just been extremely unlucky to not be here when the moves that we've been waiting for all day, that we've talked about for hours, happen. They're gone when I get there. Unfortunately, it happens too late. And it's done that over and over and over again. there's nothing I can do about it. I can't predict when the moves are going to happen, but life happens. You know, I am home. My whole family's home. We got things that we have to do. I got errands that I have to run. Got to make sure everything is in place. So I'm not sitting in front of my computer all day, every day. You know, that's the sickest thing you can do. You've got to take breaks. You've got to clear your head. And if you have a family, you got to take care of them. Or else you're going to wake up one day get up from your computer one day and everybody's going to be gone. And then what? So that's going to happen. And how you react to that and how you deal with that, you know, it has to be on a even keel, low emotion. Um, you've got to show that you've got some I can't even think of the word right now. You have to show that you have some it'll come to me in a minute. But you know, you have to be a grown up about it. Okay, you can't act like a 2-year-old when you miss every move and come back and slam everything and get upset and curse the market and all of that. I know that's what we want to do, but we can't do that. And so you can see this is what happened with Roku on Friday. I tried the opening range breakdown. Um, and it kind of um, slipped on me a little bit on my entry, but we still had a nice window that I could trade in. The other thing was, I'm sorry, I was thinking that we had a nice window to trade in. All right, that was my thought when I took this trade because the next level wasn't until 111 something. All right, and so it started selling off, and then it started acting like we were running into support. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? And sure enough, I completely forgot about the daily 90. Now, at the time, it was around 114 something. And that's what this thing was reacting to. And this is what I mean by a lot of the times when you lose on a trade, it's not because the strategy doesn't work, it's because the trader makes the error. And in this case, the trader made the error because I forgot to to mark my daily 90. And like I said, at the time it was up over 114. Now that since moved down throughout the day, and this is where it ended, you know, at the end of the day, but it was up here. And so, you know, I had to stop out. It just took me out. It was completely my fault. This, even though it dipped below the 5-minute open range low, this was not the clean setup. It was not one that you needed to trade. So that was my mistake there. And so we just waited, and I waited for it to break this channel and break the 90 day. I was waiting because again at the time the 90 day was a little bit further up. This is just where it ended at the end of the day after this big dip. It did come down a lot. So I'm waiting right here. I'm waiting for this level to break first because I knew we had to take out the opening range low. And we've seen time and time again when we mark the high and the low of the first 5-minute candle, those levels are solid throughout the day. They're solid. And here we hit it once after the initial 30 minutes, twice, 3 times it held. The fourth time we sold through it, but just couldn't confirm it. And we came back above it, but we just had so much selling pressure, it finally cracked. But look what happens when it breaks out of the the channel. When it breaks below the last level of support. these are the moves that we're looking for. I'm not looking to trade this or this. This is where you get chopped out and you give all the money back that you might have made that morning. You give it back through all of this. And then by the time this move happens, mentally you're done. You might have shut it off. You may not have any buying power anymore. Whatever the case is, when this move happens, you're done. And this is the frustrating thing. On Friday, I had to leave just before 3 to go to the vet. And look what happened. This is the move I was waiting for all day on Roku. It happened. And we talked about it all day. I brought it up and showed you what it needed to break in order for us to take the trade. And that's what happens. So what do? I'm not going to get mad. I'm going to say, hey, I know what I'm looking at. I know what it takes to make money. I know that I'm not going to be here for every trade, but I know that I can recognize the setups, and I know when to trade, and I know when not to trade. And that's how you stay profitable. So that was on Roku. ZM was a really nice trade. I didn't get the opening range break because this wasn't on my scan. It wasn't on my watch list because we didn't really have a dollar gap that put it on the scan. It might have been on the scan for a minute, but then it wasn't on, between 8:30 and 9 when I was building my watch list. So, but I always have this chart up. Now I have a group of stocks or high beta stocks that have a chance to make big moves every day. I've got just to give you an idea, I keep ZM, I keep BA, I keep Apple, I keep Facebook, I keep Netflix, I keep Tesla, I keep all of those on that scan. And not all of them are going to be in a nice window of opportunity every day. There may be one or two, there may be three. That's all I'm going to watch, and it's going to be over a longer term, and it's going to give me a bigger move. That's one of the intuitive strategies that I teach traders that have grown, that have advanced to that level. I'm not going to teach a new trader that because most of the time they don't have the account to deal with it, and then they don't have the mentality to deal with that. Not yet. So that's why we stick with the basic strategies until you become consistent and start making money. And I'm showing you can make money trading the basic strategies because that's what I did for a long time until I started venturing off. And that's what you guys are going to have to do. But like I said, I didn't take the 5-minute. If it was on your watch, you could have taken it. But this is always on my high beta watch. And what I did when we got the pullback, I was looking for the next leg up. So this was pretty much a trend continuation trade. It's kind of how we traded it. So once we broke the high of this candle, that triggered an entry, and I just started taking profit along the way. This was my final target up here, 175. I was looking for 175. We almost got there. We almost got there. And then, the bottom fell out. And this is typically what happens on these types of stocks. That's why I say you have got to have the right mindset, the right mentality, the right skill set in order to really make money on these stocks. So that was the end of it. Took it on a profit stop here, and it was a really, really good opportunity. So now we sold through everything. There's no trade shorting into all of these moving averages. There's no trade for that. Now here, classic fake. Everything is still trending up, but they're going to head fake you to the short side. We're going to lose the 20. We're going to trigger you in, But anybody that's smart will see, ooh, the 50s right here. I'm not, there's just not enough room for me to deal with that. Plus, it's trending up. Why would I do that? So if it bounces and it rejects and it comes back and this starts to flatten out a little bit, then you'll say, hey, we got some selling pressure going on. Might be a good short at some point. But you gotta have the window of opportunity. But this bounce back, and there was no trade for me on this. No trade on me on this because we were in this window. We were kind of in this tight window that I didn't really want to trade in. This stock, I look for huge moves. This thing can move 3-4 points on a move without thinking. Look at the move on this. And even the secondary move, was really strong. But we were caught up in a tight channel. But even if it broke this, I'm still looking, it's still too tight. So the only trade for me on this would have been if it broke out and confirmed over this 174.75. Here we broke out, we closed above it. Here's the candle, never did confirm it. It closed back below it. Then this candle closed back above this level, but this candle couldn't confirm it. There's no confirmation that we're breaking out here. None. So there's no trade. And look at the trend line that is coming up. Now here we're having an ascending triangle, which could be a bullish sign here, but we're not getting the buying pressure that we want to see. Every now and then we get these volume spikes, but they're not holding. They're not holding. Get a volume spike here, it's not holding. And there's just no trade. So when you see stuff like this happening, and I'm telling you, just be patient. Let things confirm. Let it confirm out of the range that it's trading, or let it confirm out of the channel that it's trading in. Then you have a better chance of a winning trade. And this is what we're talking about every day in chat. Every day. And yeah, people get lucky and short this into all of that, but that's not a viable strategy. That's not going to happen more times than it's not going to happen. And so it's not a profitable strategy. You have a big win when I'm sitting on my hands, but at the end of the week, where are you? So that's the point I'm trying to make with all of this. So with the Roku loss and then the ZM, we made a good move on ZM. We practically broke even, minus 14.27. And this would have been a really good day if I'd have been here to catch the move. Would have been a great day. And there were several days this week that, one day I went to lunch at 11. The move happened when I was at lunch. The next day, I waited to go to lunch just in case. But I had to. I had a mentor session to do, and I get back, I missed the move. It's a matter of timing, and it's gonna happen. But you can't blame anything or anybody. It's just the way it is. And there are gonna be days where your timing is gonna be impeccable. And you just have to take those good days with the bad, manage your risk. At the end of the week, at the end of the month, you're gonna have money. It's just that simple. So didn't really end Friday strong, and you can look at the issues. This week, I told you guys about that week. That was a wash. I shouldn't have been trading that week. This week started out pretty good. Started out pretty doggone good. But then Thursday and Friday just kind of, fell on his face a little bit. But that's fine. After a week like the previous week where my focus wasn't there, had so many exciting things, had some tragic things happen, just dealt with a lot. And in this past week, I had some things that still popped up, but it wasn't so bad that I couldn't stay focused. It was this week timing. The moves that we were looking for happened when I wasn't here. And but the good thing is a lot of members got it. They were waiting for it. They listened and they nailed it, and I couldn't be more proud of you guys. So we did end the week green, but you can see May is really, really slow. I went back and looked at last year, and last year was really, really slow. So um, you can take that for what it's worth. It's probably par for the course right now. But I see things picking up. We're going to have bigger opportunities. But this is what I look at. Equity curve, you can see we were killing it early on. But this isn't going to do this all year, 12 months. It's not going to do that. You're going to run into a slow period. And that's kind of what we ran into here. And all kind of coincided with the pandemic. Not that the market wasn't offering value, it was you had to be 100% locked in and focused and not be dealing with a whole different other things. And a lot of us, everything changed. Our families are home all the time. We have to make sure that they have everything. Everybody was doing school and work from home. So you got to look at that and take all of that into consideration as to how this thing was running. This should be a red line right here. We should have a red arrow here. So I've got a couple of down arrows where we kind of lost some value, but look where we are for the other year. I mean, not bad dealing with what we're dealing with. Now, here's why you don't want to look at your weekly. You don't want to look at your everything going up and down, up and down, up and down in a week, because this will drive you insane. This is not a true testament to where you're going. Your equity curve, as long as it's continuing to grow up or you kind of maintaining, then you're doing good. Now, if you go flat and start kind of stair stepping down, that's when you need to start looking at what you're doing. But this here, if you look at this every week, I mean, this will just drive you nuts. And you'll start trying to make changes when you really shouldn't be making changes. It may just be, hey, you need to clean up your act a little bit. All right, so we'll look at the swings really quick. QGEN finally closed it out. I made a little mistake here. The first profit target was supposed to be 43. That was the 52-week high. But I put it in at 43.50, and we got to 43.40, and then it came pulling back in. Ended up hitting my stop. It was a profit stop at 42 because I wasn't going to give all this back if the market rolled over. All right, sorry, my mic went out. Um, you don't know if the market's going to roll over or not. You just don't know. So what happened, I just set my profit stop at 42, because I was not giving all of this back after holding it for a month. And this is not good. $788 on a stock you held for a month is just not cutting it. And it would be my luck this week that this stock rips over 50, after it took me out. But I've held this thing for a month, and we're not looking for long-term swings. We're looking for short-term momentum swings, and that will last 3 to 5 days, at the most 2 weeks. I just didn't have any reason to sell it at this point. Just holding on to it because it still had a chance to break out. But it is what it is. I'll take it. It's not red, and we'll move on. DOCU, this was a 52-week high break here, where we don't buy. We wait for it to pull back from a 52-week high, and then we buy it on the next break. So it pulled back, and we broke over it on a gap up day, triggered the entry, but it pulled back. And as I said, this thing almost took me out, but ended up nailing profits, and we finished it on Friday, finally hit 125. This thing may keep going, but I stuck to my plan. My plan, I got in, was around 107. My plan was 125 target and take profit along the way, starting at 115. And that's exactly what I did, and really strong. 57.88, 57. And that's not bad for a couple of weeks. Not bad for a couple of weeks worth of work. Now, this is what I can swallow. I can't swallow holding something for a month for 700 and some dollars when I can hold this for a couple of weeks and get almost 6. And the other one we had, now if you missed this trade, it gave you another shot right here. Another shot, 20 EMA cross, it gave you. And entry here around 110, and profit. 5-point profit at 115, 5 more at 120. Could have used the same plan. And there were some guys that got stopped out and ended up getting it on the 20 EMA cross, and some never got in until this. So we had several members make money on this. Really nice trade. And PTON, this one was a nice quick hit. This is one of the 3, 2 or 3 day variety that we really love. So this one made a strong move up in 3 days, allowed us to take profit right before earnings. Now, if I hadn't taken profit, I would have to take it all off the table. But I was able to take profit, and we ended up getting a good move on earnings. And I knew that even if we got a bad deal on earnings, it wouldn't drop below 32. So it wasn't going to hurt me to risk the house's money right now. And that's pretty much all we were doing, was risking the house's money. And it made a huge jump up. My target was 42, but it hit during a time where I couldn't trade. My platform wasn't open, and I couldn't trade. So, but when I was able to get in, we were already at my final target. So I wasn't going to peace out. I took it. I'm making it a point to take it my final target. So, pretty decent swing so far. Now, I don't do a swing calendar because you're going to see a lot of empty holes, and especially if I don't do swings. But you can see for the month, we're at 11 grand already. So we've been slow in day trades, and we make more money in swing trades. And sometimes it's vice versa. If the market's selling off, I'm not going to make anything in swings, but because I'm a big time short seller, I'm going to make a ton of money with the market selling off, day trading. So it kind of equals out. But do you make more money swing trading? Yeah, if you have the capital, yeah. Because you can get the share size and you can make more money. But if you're trading with a smaller account, it's probably going to be equal. How much you make swinging and day trading will probably be equal. It's just that during a period of time, swing trading is going to be hot, and it's all centered around market cycles. That's the first lesson in the swing trading class. It teaches you about market cycles. There's several people that when the market is in a certain cycle, they go to day trading, and when it's in another cycle, they'll go to swing trading. It's just work for them. All right, but that's it. That's long enough. That's enough for you guys to digest this weekend. So I promise you next week, um, the recaps are going to be shorter. I'm not going to have to catch up on a lot of stuff, and I'm going to try to get back to the 15-minute rule. But you guys have a great night. A great weekend. Enjoy it. And you guys that I see on Sunday mornings, I'll see you tomorrow morning, and we'll get this swing stuff kicked off for the week. And the rest of you guys that don't come on Sundays, I will see you first thing Monday morning.